Hello. This is a Gimpcast, and I've just realised that I've brought you into the wrong scene. So we're already off to a good start. Yes. What are we doing today? Well, what we're doing today is we're going to be having another look at. Hang on about. I'm just going to turn the volume down on here. There we go. Yes. What we're doing is we are going to be looking at. Is that going to work? Nope. Hang on. This is good, isn't it? We are looking at stingers, which are these fancy animated transitions, which I'm going to trigger here with my Stream Deck. Ooh, exciting stuff. So, what we have, if I can get GimpWorks up. There we go. So, what we have in Studio Mode is probably not going to be ideal for this. What we have in, there we go, in OBS, over here in the middle, I've not got cursor grab on, have I? Over here in the middle, we have transition, fade, asp, stinger, and cut. So, the stinger we've got is that, which is a little, it's basically a film with alpha channels in it. Oh no, it's a blue screen. He's a blue screen, yeah. He's our blue screen though. Yeah. Send a blue screen to catch a blue screen. Yeah. CSO. Where we're going, we don't need CSO. We've got chroma key. There's a joke there for Zaranel. No one else. Where are we? Properties. Yes. So, if we have a look in the properties here, you'll see we have ASP Stinger 0001-0067.mov. So that's our Stinger file. And what the Stinger file basically is it's a video with a transparency what is LE5? People keep saying LE5 and I don't know what it means. And I have to control chat, so I need to have that stuff down. Right, so what a Stinger video is basically, I'll explain like I'm 5. I get it. Okay. CSO was basically colour separation overlay, which was the BBC terminology for what everyone else called chroma key, because BBC has to be special due to the unique way in which the BBC is funded. Right. First question answered. This is good. I like educating. Right, so back to what we were talking about. Yes, a Stinger video is basically a video which has an alpha channel. So in the same way that you might be familiar with a GIF having a transparent layer, so that you can stick it onto your web page and see the background of that web page underneath it, you're basically doing that with a video. So every frame has that transparent quality. And how OBS uses it is it will, over a transition, you'll have scene A, the video will play over it, and then at some point the video underneath, the scene underneath will change from scene A to scene B, and then the video will continue to play. So what we have here, I think I would show you, but it doesn't really work that way. But, I know what I'll do. So we create this video in Blender. And I'll just show you the sort of how this works. Oh yeah, just kill that. There we go. So this is one of our videos, one of the renders for the video. So I'm just going to play you through the animation, and I'll hopefully you'll understand what I'm going on about, what I'm making at Pig Zero explaining. So we have our transparency is basically the ASP. So the ASP flies in and completely fills the screen. So just there, yeah. So it's at that point, essentially, that the scene is shifting. Slightly different with this, and we'll get to that in a moment. But that's the idea. Now, ideally, what OBS should be able to do is to go live from A to B. So if you just go back to our transitions, we have a thing here called fade. So yeah, we should. So with fade will do it because it's quite a simple thing. Well, if you'll see that, you're getting both scenes at the same time, superimposed. That's the word. And it'd be quite nice if OBS could do that as well, but at the moment it can't. So it would be quite nice to create a video where basically scene A is the background and scene B is that sort of ASP shape coming in. But OBS can't do that at the moment. So what we do instead is we have a little capture card basically in the middle. So you get the ASP coming in, filling in that card, and yeah, like that. See, and then yeah, the second scene coming in like that. Woo. So we've essentially got a video with transparency stuff at the start, transparency stuff at the end, and then in the middle, that capture card. Which, yes. So how do we do all of that? Also, if you have any questions, do ask, because I'm not sure how clear I'm being about any of this. Now we're going to be using Blender. And Blender is a freely available rendering package which you can download and play with. There's lots of stuff online on how it actually works. So I couldn't find a video specifically about this, which is sort of why I did it, because I created the A stinger ages ago using it, and then when we lost everything I had to recreate it, and I realised I couldn't actually remember how it was. So the idea for this is for me to do it on stream with that knowledge back in my head, and then later on, if I forget again, I can learn from myself. Yeah. So Blender creates different it's got different rendering engines, and the one that we're going to be using. Hello, Fisk Dragon. Welcome to the stream. If you're looking for Jack, by the way, he is upstairs. He's boning up on his French oral. So you've just got the GIMP to play with tonight, I'm afraid. I'm very well, Fisk. How are you? So yeah, so the rendering engine that we want here is Cycles Render. And we want to export a video with an alpha channel. Now, not every video format carries an alpha channel. In fact, most video formats and codecs don't carry an alpha channel. We're quite limited as to what we can use with this. So, we go to the render menu over here. I'm cheating slightly because this is all already set up for it, but what you're basically looking for here is selecting FFmpeg video here. Ooh, well that's useful. And the codec we want is QuickTime, RLE QuickTime animation. Now the QuickTime format is the one that gets used a lot in video games, and I think partly the reason why it gets used a lot is because you can mess around with it quite a bit. And one aspect of messing around with it in a way that you can't with others is the that's better, isn't it? Is the alpha channel that we're interested in. So we've got black and white, red, green, blue, alpha. And red, green, blue, alpha is the one that we want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And there are some other options that we're going to look at, but we can look at those later. So let's start afresh. So let's create a new... Hello? Interesting. Curiously, it's not creating a new thing. Oh, there we go. Reload startup file. Hurrah! So, we're going to make something very, very simple now. What we're basically going to do, in the same way that we have with the ASP, is we're going to create a tumbling object, if you like, which is going to fill the frame. But first of all, let's see what our frame actually looks like. So let's take a view from the camera. There we go. And this is going to be very rough and ready because this isn't really the stuff that we're interested in. But let's make the object a little bit more interesting. So let's create some text. There we go. Go into edit mode. And let's play to our ego here. Let's change the font into something a little saucier. There you go. Windows, fonts. Okay. This is me getting completely sidetracked by really irrelevant details here. Never mind. Ah, there we go, that's what I'm after. Extrude. And bevel. Yeah. Not that that's going to make much difference, but it's just nice to have. And we go back to our camera view. Okay, so down at the bottom we've got our keyframes. So I'm just going to quickly rig up a little animation sequence with this. first of all. Well, it's often it's easiest to oh right, got you. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay, so that'll do. And again, we don't really want it to be... This isn't going to be perfect, but it's just going to be illustrative. So... let's have it coming in here, because we read it left to right, so it'd be fun to have it coming in left to right. That makes sense to me. Blender is fiddly as Arenal. Yeah. So that's going to be our first keyframe. Insert, and we want actually insert. Insert. Location, rotation. Okay. I'm going to do it in a couple of stages. Show. Again, insert. Sure, there's a quicker way of doing this. Insert keyframe location, rotation, scaling. So now if we roll that back, that's coming in. So we're going to add another 10. Basic, just going to bring this forward. No. Oops. Really shouldn't have done that. So the problem as well is that this is largely running off of hotkeys. Okay, let's cheat. What we'll do is we'll scale this up. Ooh, rather it wasn't scaling from there though. Now this might look extreme, and you'd be right to think that, but there we go. What we're trying to do now is fill the frame. So so there. So now the entire object there is filling the frame. Nothing is too extreme for good old Jackie. Absolutely right. He's quite an extreme gentleman. So, location, rotation, scale. play that through. There we go. Cool. Now the next part of this trick is materials. Oh, actually, no. The next part of this is we need to create a background. Now you can actually do this on the sort of the scene background itself, but that's a little bit fiddlier. So see, where are we? So you've got your camera there. Okay. Ooh, don't do that. What we're going to do is create a plane. Let's do that. I've been looking for that for ages. Right, so I'm going to go to the camera, align to view, now what we'll probably find is if we play this through, play this through, we'll probably find that the... Oh, no, that's good. What we're looking for there was that the object always stays in front of that panel at the back, which it does, which is what we want. So now we have to make this panel black. This is for our compositing laser. We basically want the background to be black and the jack to be in what we're going to call cutout, which it basically doesn't render at all, it just renders that as an alpha channel. So let's see, materials, plane, moving the chat window around because it's perennially in the way. There we go, materials this way. So I want to create a new material. I want it to be black. Shadeless. I think that's all we need, actually. Let's call that good black. Okay, and we need to create a material for this now, which is or I won't be able to find it. I'm interested in shadow. Where are you? Colour. Oh no, we were doing so well. It's all gone wrong. What we don't want is to set the texture of the object to alpha, because that just makes it see-through in the scene. What we're looking for is a thing called cutout. Which I cannot see there. Face textures. Oh, excuse me a moment. Because this is integral to the whole thing. Oh, holdout it's called actually, not cutout. Holdout. No volume, please. Okay, so new. Oh. Surface. Ah, okay.
Yo, what's going on?
Surface. Should be a surface setting. This is what happened last time, basically. Cycles. Surface, use nodes, hold out. So basically what I told you there about the render engine at the start was wrong. It should be cycles render. Well done me. Ooh, so, that's it. So theoretically, when we do this, Jack Stinger. We want this to be 20 frames. Start frame 1, end frame 20. Off. I certainly don't want it to be in a PNG format. We want it to be MOV. Cannot see.
Yo, what's going on?
Ooh, this is fun. Strange.
What's going on?
That's right, it's just this, I think. This is so strange. We discussed how Blender is fiddly, didn't we? Basically, if we hit, but then it's giving me FFmpeg video. Maybe I'm actually okay. Hang on. So let's render this. See what happens. Fiddly fuddly. The graphic user interface is utter beep. It is utter beep. I think the trouble with it to some extent is that it's sort of built with adept users in mind. So a lot of is that just on one frame? Haha, HS0003, welcome. Yep, that's just giving me one frame. Start frame 1, end frame 20. Thank you, Goose. This is, this is just one off-the-shelf playlist. It is in fact Chill Station, which is what we need right now. Oh, I'm an idiot. I pressed the wrong render button. Hey! But you know, we like simple mistakes because they have simple solutions, don't they? Could not open file for writing. Okay. that. Try that again. There we go. Can be quite relaxing for short things like this to watch the thing build up. Of course, it's not going to look very interesting until the alpha comes into play. Although we're not seeing the alpha at all, which is a worry. Ha ha ha. Certainly shouldn't be painting the alpha as black. That just looks weird. So this might have gone horribly wrong. We're getting to understand why they always had a cake pre-prepared by the I say by the researchers, but often no, it wasn't the researchers in Blue Peter. It was the one from rehearsal. We've lost that holdout material. Right, this isn't what this should look like, so let's have another try. To be held out at all, do we? I think what we had there is we had two materials that were the same. So that all went horribly wrong. Let's try that again then. So there we'd basically made a mistake by having both of the objects of the same material, which is odd because it didn't look like that at all, but that's what we had. So that is good black. Ooh, that's still strange. It's just, yep, that's definitely fine. Okay. Ooh. So let's try it again. Back to the relaxation of watching it render, hopefully correctly. Still not getting it, are we? Because it will actually give you the cutout at this stage, or it should do. bear with me a moment. I'm just going to have a quick dip into that part of the... And basically, yeah, that's so far what we've achieved, HS0003. We're actually trying to create a stinger, which I've done before because I use them all the time. But I seem to be having trouble tonight. Where are we? Creative. By the way, HS is enough. I like saying HS0003, but HS, if you will, it's your name. Oof. So what's going on? Still got that video open. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly, because I'm facing the possibility that I'm just interpreting things incorrectly. So I'm going to take, let's say that frame, and we're quickly going to render a single frame. Drastic measure now. Oh dear. I'll laughingly call this tutorial. And then go to composite 1. Yeah, that's what I did. How strange. Okay, and let's go back to our transition 1 file. And look at our settings. So we've got cycles render, render preset. That's all as it should be. Materials. That's material 3. Surface diffuse PDF. Surface holdout. Non-default. Why you no work? it's not going to be an icon, it's going to be a stinger. It's going to be a transition object. I think I realised what I've done wrong here is that should be hold out. We don't need that. Let's just give that a quick whirl. No, still not doing it. Okay. Can make a difference that. Volume none, displacement default, object, material 1. Yep. I think we can be safe in saying that the plane object is correct. Haha! Got ya. Maybe. No! Sorry, this is going to be me sort of explaining how all this all works, rather than me trying to remember how it all works. Container. What's that all about? Container QuickTime. Because this is the other thing, is often it's some sort of esoteric bit of a setting. And that's given me the wrong container. It should be QuickTime. This is most confusing. Unless it's got something to do with the sky. Well, this is all a bit embarrassing. Demonstrate that I'm not going mad. Yeah, that's what we should be getting. It's not what we're getting. I do not know why. Save. Is it as simple as that? I'll just set that to 0. I don't think so. See? So let's come back to that again. Let's bloody save. Like a good boy. Oxford. We're basically playing Spot the Difference now. Customer properties. So I think I just changed the hardness. It's very unlikely that that's had any effect. Unless it shouldn't be a lighting issue. Hey, Maniac Psycho. Good to have you here. We're stuck. Which is not where we wanted to be. Oh, and thank you for the host. We're failing to make this work. The longer this goes on, the more determined I am to work out why. We're trying to make a new stinger, purely for educational purposes. But for some reason, I'm not getting the joyful transparentification that I'm used to. And I don't know why. Oh, we've got gravity, that's exciting. It's a little Zelda. I feel like something really obvious that we're missing here. Properly flummoxed. I'm properly stumped now. Which might mean... I have to call it quits. That's because it's a text object. That shouldn't make any difference. But let's try something just to annoy ourselves. Well, that's in some weird way that's reassuring. There. JL1 object, custom properties, surface holdout, volume none, displacement default, settings, multiple importance, transparent shadows, viewport color. What's the map doing? There's a point. Getting any joy from that. I think we're going to have to jack it all in. Right. Hey, it is MXC. I wasn't even trying. Is there something there? One layer. Some extras. Oh, well, I'm very sorry. This isn't how this is supposed to turn out at all. I failed you. Display image out of feature supported. I think what's most frustrating is the fact that it's not even showing me it, you know, in green, as it were. Which almost feels like a clue, doesn't it? If this works, I'll be even more confused. It didn't. That, I think, is just telling me what it looks like when I'm looking at it through the software, rather than how it will render. No, I think we're defeated. Which is a shame. I have no idea what you're trying to do, but it is interesting nonetheless. Thank you, Maniac. That's very kind of you. So basically what we're trying to do, if I render this, we're basically trying to make it render an object that is in alpha channel, so basically transparent, so that we can then use it in compositing to create a lovely stinger. And it just ain't working. And I haven't a clue why. Is that it? Oh, we might have fixed it. Oh, almost don't want to try. Almost don't want to try. Let's see what happens. Hey! And that's basically what using Blender is all about. So 8:18, we've achieved something. So let's render the whole thing. Oh, thanks, Maniac. So when we come to composite this, we'll use clever layer blending to replace the black with... have I spoken too soon? Oh no, there we go. It just comes in quite late there. Yes, with the... Well, this is actually the outgoing thing, just to confuse things further. This is actually the outgoing one. We're going to swap these round now. It'll make more sense, but basically the black stuff is going to be replaced with a video that we're not going to create tonight. We're just going to use the one that we've used before. In our other stinger. Oh. Halfway through. Now you can obviously have different animations going in and going out. We're essentially using the same animation going in and going out, just with essentially the alpha channel switched around. But you can yeah, I basically prefer it to have the same animation because for me it's all about communication. So it's because I kind of want to confront people, if you like, with the. It's So with the asp, for instance, when the asp flies in, I kind of want people to go, "Oh, was that an asp?" And then they get it again, and they can kind of confirm that it was an asp or some spaceship type shape. So yeah, I kind of prefer and it has quite a nice sort of double hit rhythm to it. You can obviously get to that rhythm using different animations, but it's just a little easier, obviously, if it's the same animation. So yeah, this was the culprit down here. Film. So actually, it wasn't enough to say that we were doing an RGBA render with an alpha channel object in it for Blender to actually understand that it had to render that bit in that was being held out as an alpha channel. We had to tick that little transparent widget there. So that's one. This is the very, very... I can fix and build computers and do games, but most technical things I've ever done is make Quake 3 arenas back in the day. That's more than I ever did, I think, with Quake 3. Right, so... let's change this to... Oops. There we go. Is it material 1? It is material 1. Let me select Jack. Let me make this the good black. There we go. And then we just, nearly render the same thing. What we need to do is change the file name though. So put Jacksting in. Pretty sure this is the right way around. And do that again. So now, yeah, you'll get, it will all be alpha, apart from, eventually, a little blackjack, hey, at the top right of the frame there. Oh, so how's your evening been, Maniac Psych? How's everybody's evenings been? So I've been a little bit wrapped up in myself tonight. But, you know, we're over the hurdle. It's quite a good idea as well, he says, to sort of, I guess, save an empty file with those two materials in as a kind of a template. So you can just fire up, not have to worry about any of those settings that we had to worry about tonight. I wanted to do it from scratch because obviously getting those settings right in the first place is important. Grief is calm and relaxed, which is good to hear. Curtains had a lovely dinner of gammon and chunky chips. Did you have brown sauce on your chunky chips, Curtains? And also, did you have a pineapple hoop on the gammon there? Always like a bit of pineapple hoop on the gammon. Jack can't actually be with us tonight. He's upstairs, as I said earlier, boning up on his French oral. No pineapple either. Oh no! Curtains forgot his sauce. Minix. Ooh. Have I just broken it? I think I've just broken it. Oh no, there we go. Hetchkins was just now when the kids finally sent to bed. No to stare at my games and not pick something to play. Oh, now to stare at... Yes. It's a big decision, isn't it? I've got to press on with that zombie thing. I do... it's tricky, isn't it? It's like the one... I've been playing No Man's Sky to sort of chill out quite a bit. I love Elite, obviously, but I find I have to kind of I feel like I have to block out more time and just kind of almost suit up for it, you know. Especially on my own account, rather than, you know, helping Jack play on his account. Ooh, we're done. Right. So now we have two almost identical animations. We have, hopefully, let's see. Ooh, okay, which we cannot play. Interesting. We don't need to. Hang on. Where are we? VLC, will you do it? Yeah. So I would show you these, but you can't just have a quick go over Elite. Exactly, Maniac. Yeah. You've got to be. Although perversely, games allowing, you can have a quick go of CQC. Right. So I'm going to rename that Jack Sting out. And we're going to save this. Oops. We're going to save this. Now what we're going to open is Composite 1. This is a file that we've already made, and it's the file that we've used to create the... in fact, I think I can show you. Or maybe I can't. Okay. Don't know what you're doing over there either. How'd you stop this thing? There we go. Right. Oh golly, I've not deleted that, have I? Hope not. We try 180 in output. Oh dear, I think I've done a bad thing. Well, let's ignore the fact that I've done a bad thing. Yeah. Okay. So basically I've deleted one of the source files that I created my original one in, which is not a problem because I can always re-render them, so that's not a big deal. But so we're going to have to choose. We're going to have to make something else slightly differently. Now, this window, it's again, it's a sort of a set of layers. So we've got. If I can move this out of the way. So if you can see, you've got that sort of alpha channel there. That will remain on the final version were we to render this. But as this comes in, you've got the ASP coming into view. Over that sun scene. And then alpha ASP coming in. So what we've got basically here is the first. We've got basically the two different files, which are the equivalent of the two files that we've just created, with the jack swipe coming in, but with different blending styles. So that first one we've got is overdrop. Over here, that's overdrop. So that is taking the whatever it is above, and it's sticking that into the black of the image, essentially. And over here we've got cross, which is Ooh, I was going to say we should doing the opposite. We should be doing the same thing. I'm going to have to think about that. Anyway, it works. That's the main thing. Just as an experiment, that's overdrop, that's cross. What happens if we change that to overdrop? Does it do the same thing? Yes, it does. So I'm not sure why I've got that on cross. Let's keep it simple and have them both on overdrop. And this blend add. So essentially what we're doing is we're adding that to the one below rather than blending the one above, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Ooh. Curtains, right, so I'm having a quick trip from the gnosis to the bubble and back again. Right. So we're going to delete these. Oh no, first of all we're going to save this as... let's call it tutorial blend. There we go. So we're going to remove that and that, and we set this to where we want to install the strip. We refer to each block of film as a strip, I think. No, we refer to it as a movie. Oh, it's a strip when it's in there, but it's a movie strip is the type of strip it is. I know what I'm doing. And oh, that's already on cross, so that's good. So let's see how this looks. Ooh. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Play it and see what happens. Ooh, that's very bad. Makes sense. A1 exclamation for someone like me. Oh, jolly good. Okay, so I'm not quite sure. Unless it's a frame rate issue. Which it could be. Strip input. Might be. Tell me what the frames per second are. Oh, this might not work with this particular image. Let's get this set up anyway. So we've got 20 frames there. Let's stick another 20 frames in and introduce our next one. So again, add movie jack string out. Ooh. Oh, and that's not working, so let's put that to overdrop again. There we go. How strange is that? Oh, and that seems to be behaving now, so maybe that was just a little bit of background processing. So if we quickly render this, and while that happens, I'm going to make a quick phone call. Haha. Because because this is live. So we want to render start frame. Whoops. Oh, I see. That's not the thing. Okay, so take that. Why are you still selected? Sort of not really what we want there, is it? That's the one that we want. Uh, 60. Hoping I've not just done something very strange to this. Yes, I have. One moment. What I've done is I've replaced the one of the files by rendering something else over it. So we need to swap these over again. And render. While that's doing, I shall make my call. So if you bear with me a moment. Back in the room. So theoretically, once we've Spectrum Retreat is coming out on the Switch, it is Maniac Psycho. Yes, it's a lovely little game. I felt I kind of wish there was more of it. Oof. And it's one of those games as well, which I think is peculiar to puzzle games, where if you have a particular way of approaching them, if you like personally have a particular way of approaching them, then you're kind of just able to tunnel through. And it's I think it's a very difficult measure to get right, of sort of, because what you want with the puzzle game is to struggle with something and then get that kind of flash of inspiration as to how to solve it. And I think you get a couple of moments like that in Spectrum Retreat, but in the main it's sort of, I don't know, you're almost channeled down to a solution, or at least I felt a little bit like that. I was thinking, it wasn't like I wasn't thinking, but it was more sort of it was more like a procedural solution rather than having to seek out inspiration as to how to solve a particular room. But yes, nevertheless, very, very worth checking out. I felt the ending as well was a little curious, but I can't really discuss that without spoiling the ending. So I can discuss it a little bit. So I would say that let's go back to our composition tutorial blend. There we go. I would say that one's required action at the end is possibly the inverse of what one would expect. So you're given an A or B choice, and I think that they sort of solve for the other scenario. I hope that makes sense if you've played it. Yeah. Now we're cooking. Right. Start frame 1, end frame 0. And what was the file name? It's always the little things, isn't it? What I want to do is make sure I render this without deleting what I Maniac Psycho. Watch Jack play it. Yes, Jack Jack played it on holiday. And he seemed to get a kick out of it. I just can't think what strip input. I feel like a blundering novice. Ooh, right, just a moment. Video sequence editor. Properties of active. Oops. There we go. So we want properties, do we? Well, maybe we didn't mess it up last time. Interesting. Animation. RGBA. Oh. We're not putting any audio on this, but you could theoretically put audio in, which again is just another. That's just another bar on that sequence editor. That's it. So we can set this off, and it will work. Maybe. Hey, okay. And that goes very quickly because it's just compositing images, so it's fairly straightforward. Let's put that in the temp folder though. Yeah, there it is. Right. You have to trust me now that there's a file there. Jack Stinger. The next game that I'm very interested in playing, although it's going to be out, not going to be out for a while, and it's going to go into early access, is what's it called? Something about light. Anyway, so it looks very good. It's from Big Robot. I'll dig the title out of my brain in a moment. Right, so I'm just sticking the file where I need it, and then we can get down to integrating it into OBS and see what we've come up with. Stream, cute. Stingers. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to go to Gimp Works. There we go. So here we are in. No, we're still in Blender. I haven't changed that. There we go. Ooh, here we are in Gimpception. Now we're going to create a new stinger. So we want to go over to the bottom right. In fact, can we go? There we go. Yeah, that's visible now, isn't it? Yeah, good. Right. So we go over to here, scene transitions. I'm going to add a new one, and we're going to add a stinger. We could call that stinger Jack Stinger. And we point this to the video file. Creative, stream, that little. Ooh, stingers. And there's our newly created file there, Jack Stinger. Now we've got some settings here. Transition point in milliseconds. Let's change that to frames because we're not mad. Now it's constructed that we have 20 frames of the Jack coming in, 20 frames of just the sun, and then another 20 frames. So let's just make it safe. Stick it in that transition point at 30. Now the transition point is where it goes from scene A to scene B. Okay. So let's see. And there we are. That's our stinger. We can do it as often as we like. So obviously you can stick anything in the middle there, although you obviously have to then render that. And that's it. You could as well. There's nothing to say that you can't render something in Blender itself to take the part of that video, so that you could essentially have it all happen in one thing. So, for instance, if you had a beautifully textured asp, to use that as an example, if you had a beautifully textured asp that could fly in up towards the camera until it filled the frame, and then sort of zoom off. And if the background was the alpha channel of that, and the asp was over the top, then you could have when the asp is filling the frame, that's the point at which you could transition from A to B. So that would just be one render file, no compositing. And you just dump that in, find that frame point where the frame is filled by the asp, and use that as your transition, if that makes sense. So let's just do a little recap of the important bits while we have the time. So, because a lot of stuff went wrong there horribly at the start. So let's go back to our file, open recent tutorial. There we go. Our 3D view. So, what we did was first up we created this object which we wanted to fill the frame, and we created an animation so that there was a point at which, at the end of this animation, the object that we created completely filled the viewing window of the camera that's taking the render. That's there. In fact, let's show that in the camera view. Whoa, okay. Oh, we are. Sorry, yes, I see. Yeah. That's just better. So that just fills the camera view. Then we made sure that our juggling with chat again. There we go. We made sure that our file settings were correct. In the file settings, this is where we came unstuck. We needed to have FFmpeg video. We need to set this to QuickTime, the codec to QTRLE QT animation, which then allowed us to tick RGBA. Also, we need to be in cycles render. That's very important. Lastly, and this is a bit that we missed, under film, so one of these drop downs, you have to select transparent. That was our big obstacle tonight because I'd forgotten about that, and it took a while to dig that out. Then we created two materials. We created a material we called Good Black, which is basically a black texture that fills the entire screen. In this particular, where the file is at the moment, that's the material that Jack is made of. And we made a different material. Yep. Which is what we've got here is material .001, which isn't very helpful. So let's rename that to alpha mat. There we go. So this is our alpha material. The viewport color isn't important, really. That's just to show us what we're doing with it. And the important bit here is holdout. Holdout basically, if you like, holds it out of the render. So instead of it rendering, it just fills it in with an alpha channel. And we create, this is our out view, I think. No, this is our in view actually. Come to think of it, yes. So first we'd animate it with Jack as the black material and this pane that we've created as the alpha. Then we render that as a movie. Then change the file name so we don't overwrite it. Switch those materials around so Jack becomes the alpha and the plane becomes the black. And run that so it's exactly the same animation, but the materials have been switched around. We save that. Then we went to the video sequence editor, and we added our animations front and back to another video sequence, which is the stuff that happens in the middle. I don't quite know why that's looking so bad there. Anyway, in the preview. Yes, and these are both blended in. Oh. Ah, yes, now. We've got one as cross and one as overblend. You might have to fiddle around with that because I'm not quite sure why that didn't hold. They should have both worked as overblend, as cross. I'm not sure why they didn't. Maybe it's because they're in different layers, I don't know. But yes, and the video that you're using as the in-between video, you blend with add. So you set your file name for that using the properties tab. That seems to be the easiest way of getting there. And again, within properties, you have to make sure that you're using the right file settings. Which are not here. Interesting. So again, just for the sake of repeating ourselves, that is QuickTime, QTERLE, QT Animation, RGBA. And yes, and make sure obviously you're outputting that to a decent file name, and that you're not overwriting anything once you do that. Because what you find as well, if you're doing a lot of this sort of work, is that you actually want to be overwriting your files. So a lot of rendering packages will basically allow you to do that without really prompting you. Blender certainly does. So be careful of that. And then, once we've created that file, we went into OBS, created a new stinger down here, created the settings. Transition point we set to frame, sort of loaded in the video there, changed that to frame, took a transition point where the entire frame was filled up with no alpha, basically, and then we were basically good to go. And we'd done this. Ooh, there we go. Oh. We'd done this. So that's not perfect. That was just an illustration, but that gives you some idea of how, once you know what you're doing, how relatively easy it is to sort of create those sorts of stingers for your stuff. One of the things that I do on the stream is I set up different. You can basically duplicate scenes, but give them different. If I've got an example here, so you've got. You've got that scene, just cut that back, and you've got this scene. So those are basically identical scenes, but if you right click, you'll see you've got transition. Oh, hang on, it would help if you could see that, wouldn't it? Yeah, so under each scene, you can create transition override. So there I've got transition override as cut, and there transition override as asp stinger. And then you can, on your Stream Deck, create buttons to go to those particular scenes. So you're, in essence, it's slightly clumsy, but in essence what you then have is buttons that will transition to a particular scene with a particular transition that you want. So on my Steam Deck, I've got both of those scenes to hand. So I've got the main one that I use and with the asp stinger, and the main one with a cut. If that makes sense. So thank you for joining me, and if you made it all the way through, then congratulations. Sorry about that slight sticking point in the middle, but that's the thing as well when you're working with Blender, is that often you'll hit walls, and then and it will always be some tiny little box somewhere that you haven't ticked, or something you've not quite got to grips with. So thanks for sticking with me as I struggle through that. And you know, if you do take any of this and use it, do let me know, because I'd love to hear about that and see what you've done with it. The ASP model that I use is just downloaded from the interweb. It was actually a 3D print file. There are various sort of elite themed things out there. Also, Blender can do stuff with physics as well, so you could theoretically have like sort of a load of blocks raining down, which is something I want to do at some point, is have a load of objects just kind of drop down under gravity, and then maybe some little thing sneaking to solve the problem of all the little gaps, but that's the general idea. Yeah, so Blender's out there. What I'll do as well is I'll, if you're on the Discord, I'll put links up to Blender, and I'll see as well if I can dig out that ASP file for what it's worth. And yeah, and I think we're done. Thank you, Grief. Thank you very much as well. Yes, I should say thank you for M Curtains and Grief for moderating. Next Psycho seems good. 100 really informative explanation.
Really
Thanks.
informative
Aww.
explanation. Thanks.
You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Thanks. I might sort of have a go at editing this down into something slightly more serviceable. We didn't do anything. Being there, Grift. It's all about being there. That's what I say. 80% of success is turning up. Definitely. So, how would Jack do it? Well, he thanks Steve for making me the man I am, but I made me the man I am. Thank you. But obviously we wouldn't be here without Steve Kirby. None of this would be here without Steve Kirby. So, eternally grateful to him. And yes, and I think that's it. So, thank you very much. Next time this stream goes live, it'll be with the man himself on Sunday, I guess. I'm not sure what he'll be up to, but possibly shooting up scouts outside the Gnosis, if that's still happening. So, until then, thank you again for joining us, and we shall see you when we see you. Oh, shall we raid someone? I've not raided somebody before. I've usually let the little fella do it. Oh, who have we got? Oh well, as it's a special occasion, let's raid Colo, shall we? It's a bit cheap, but I'm a bit cheap, so yes, let's do that. Right. So sorry about that. We're raiding Colo. Yeah, let's do that. Gimp raid phrase. Why not? Because I don't have a massive. Hashtag sorry not sorry. Yay. Right. Okay, let's get this underway. Ooh. It'd help if I could type. Looks like a proper stream now. Ooh. Thanks again, Maniac, for those bits. And we'll make sure Jack spends them wisely. Ooh. There we go. Bye.